Hello everyone, this is Charles Walhingford, back again with another watch talk alongside of the StyleCon, and we're going to have a discussion, and I think this discussion will actually help open up a lot of people's eyes and maybe hopefully quell some of the arguments that take place in our community. If you didn't already know, if you're new to our watch community, we argue a lot. We're a little bit aggressive to each other, and I think it's because we have some misunderstandings on what each one of us thinks a good watch is all about. And there's two elements that first get blurred and then separate us: horology versus luxury. To afford a good watch, it's going to cost you a little bit of money, because it doesn't matter how rich you are, you understand that $500 isn't something you just throw away. $1,000 isn't something you just throw away, and 5,000 and above is a lot of money. But a lot of times we tell somebody, hey, don't buy that because that watch isn't that good. And I think we may tell each other that is because that we think that person wants a better horological significant watch, or we think that person should have a better luxury type watch. Let me explain a little bit more. We all know Rolex. Everybody knows Rolex. Rolex doesn't deal with horology as much as another brand would. Rolex is well known, and it's known also for being expensive, and it's known for being a luxury item. It's like one of the luxury items to have. You're gonna have a Mercedes, you're gonna have a Armani suit, and you're gonna have a Rolex watch. That's what we think. We all know there's cars just as nice or nicer than Mercedes. We all know there are suits that are nicer or better made than Armani. And then there's also other situations where other watches are better than Rolex. But how is it better? Because a person will argue that Rolex is better because of that whole adage I said before: if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? Meaning, some people feel that what's the use of having something really nice, luxurious, and no one knows it's luxurious? StyleCon, what do you think of that?
Well, see, I see a difference between, I mean, obviously, Rolex is in horology. Anything that's just clocks, wristwatches, pocket watches, that's all encompassed. You know, it's a study of time.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, with certain companies, they don't bring anything to the horological table. I mean, Rolex is, one of those examples. They tweak things. They pretty much, use the same motor in the watches. They just tweak them every now and then to make them better. Now, I would say, for instance, even though some people may love this watch or hate this watch, but horologically, Swatch System 51 brings more to the table than Rolex does. Because Swatch, when Nick Hayek Sr. wanted to, develop it, and then obviously Junior took over, and they wanted to do things the opposite way. Everybody's trying to build more complicated watches. Let's, if you check out some of the stuff from, Richard Mille, Christopher Claret, Jacob and Company, they all make these MB&F. I mean, they're making all these crazy designs, and they're making more elaborate. But Swatch said, you know what? Why can't we just take it back to the most minimalistic form that we can get to run this watch? And to me, that has more horological significance than a Rolex or a Omega. I mean, some people may not see it the same way I do, but if you read any publication, they always talk about how this is an advancement in watch. The typical number of parts in a mechanical watch are 108. I've heard some people say 200, 250. No. The minimum number of parts is 108 to get a mechanical watch to work. And Swatch brought that number down to 51, which is phenomenal. So you're going to get the same effects as something that has more parts and it has a horological significance.
If we want to talk horology speaking, horology doesn't have to cost that much.
No. I
to
mean,
be
anything.
really nice, because
it's a $2 watch
well,
from Walmart.
The Bulova Precisionist.
Great
Bulova
watch.
Precisionist has done a lot for horology, but because it's not expensive, it's not seen as luxury, and then not seen as good. And then even stepping up the game even more with that curve movement, they don't have to make a movement that's curved. They can make the case curved, but they actually make the movement curved.
And it's the first time that any company's ever done it, made a curve movement, and that's a piece of horological history. Just like that System 51, it's a piece of horological history. Older Rolexes, when they used to do day-date displays, month displays.
That is horological history.
The stuff they put out now, is it a part of horology? Yes, but like Charles said, I think that's more luxury than horological because there's no new advancements. It's just the same old thing. I forget the name of the
brand new case.
Yeah,
it's just a brand new case, a brand new cover.
Yeah, they tweaked it. This part of the movement, that part of the movement. It's a tweak, but it's nothing elaborate. And to me, I look at watch brands. I would look at that Bulova with the curved movement as representing horology better than a Rolex. And I look at Omega sometimes with their stuff. I mean, they're doing the ceramic cases, even though I'm not a big fan of ceramic because if you drop it, you can break it, and that. But no, I think the look is beautiful. It will look good, but you better be careful not to drop it because ceramic can crack and it can break.
So, StyleCon, what do you think is a good example of just a luxury watch that says, I'm doing well, and I kind of want people to know that I'm doing well? What's a good example of a luxury watch?
Oh, I mean, there's two, and they're probably the most talked about watches. I would say an Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon, and you can go with like maybe a used Rolex Sub.
Yeah, I was thinking Rolex Sub, and I was thinking maybe just a Breitling Navitimer.
Actually, that's a very good watch. It has a lot of horological history with it.
Now, let's talk about what would you think of as a not necessarily a horological history type watch, but that gives it that luxury feel. But what about a hands down horological significant watch that you can buy these days?
$150 Swatch System 51.
Swatch System 51. Okay.
I mean, they put a lot of thought into it. It took them years to develop it. It wasn't something that happened overnight. I know everything's done by machines, but needless to say, they did something completely opposite of what the industry's going to.
So it has a good story behind it.
Oh, it has a great story. I mean, you read any publication, I don't care if it's Watch Time Magazine, In Sync, whatever it might be, everybody talks about how, I mean, you either like the watch or you don't like the watch, but how it is a piece of horological history.
For me, it would be the Seiko spring drive, and if you want to get real technical or get a defined model, the spring drive Snowflake, I think that would be a good example of a horological significant watch. A spring drive, no one else is doing it. And we know about how precise that watch is, and it's a hybrid watch. They're bringing both technologies together, quartz and mechanical together. I think that would be probably the best horological significant watch you can get right now, and you have a little bit of luxury in it too.
Oh yeah, but you know what? That Seiko will never get the credit that it deserves. It's a phenomenal watch. Seiko makes excellent products from their low end up to their high end, but it doesn't get. You know what's funny is that System 51 gets more horological credit than that Seiko spring drive.
That's a video for another time. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got a better idea of what really takes place, or not necessarily what really takes place, what people are thinking of when they purchase their watch, their high-end watch. Are they going for horological significance or are they going for luxury? Either way, you're not wrong. But a lot of times we get into arguments and we miss that's the reason why somebody bought their watch. They bought their watch because they like the horological significance or they like the fact that it's luxury. Luxury feels good. It absolutely does. It feels good for somebody to say, oh, wow, you have one of those. Regardless if it's watch, car, clothes, or what have you. Then for people who are watch nerds like us, it feels good to have a watch that does something nobody else watch does because of painstaking research, development, and everything else. All right. You have any last parting words, StyleCon?
That's a good question. No.
I'm Charles Walhingford. How will you spend your money?